This example is on a 2000 Chevy Astro found at the junkyard. First, recover the refrigerant. Remove the doghouse, remove the grill, remove the negative battery cable, and remove the intake. We're skipping over how to remove those because at this point, it will be redundant. This rear AC delete method has you removing the main lines and replacing with non-rear AC lines. New ones cost a little over $100. Remove the suction and discharge lines from the compressor by removing the middle bolt. Use a 15mm socket. Remove the bolt that holds this bracket to the engine. Don't leave the system fully open like I did. Under the driver's side, near the gas filler hose, are two AC lines. Loosen the larger one using the two adjustable wrench method. We will remove the larger line from here up to the engine. This line is held in place by a clip and a bolt. Remove the clip's bolt with a 10mm socket. There's one that can be difficult to get to. It's just above the corner of the fuel tank. Get it with a 10mm wrench. Otherwise, you need to lower the fuel tank. There's a nut that secures the line to the engine. Remove with a 15mm socket and a 6-inch extension. Disconnect the inlet connection at the condenser. Disconnect the outlet connection at the accumulator, preferably using the 2-wrench method. Bring these two last lines that you disconnected into the passenger compartment. You might need to disconnect the connector or even the wire to the ignition coil. Here it helps to have someone feed the disconnected line from under the van. And the first line is now removed. At this point, you install the replacement line, which does not have the portion that goes under the van. You would lubricate the O-rings with either PAG 46 or PAG 150. The bolt at the compressor is tightened to 26 pound-feet. Other torque specs are shown, but I left them good and tight. The high pressure line is much easier to swap. Disconnect the connection right before the orifice tube. Remove the passenger side wheel and splash guard. Free the line from the clip using a 10mm socket and use a 13mm socket to remove the nut. Now you can disconnect the line. Disconnect the outlet connection at the condenser. Now you can slide out the liquid line. At this point, you would install the new one that doesn't have the part that goes under the van. I snugged up the connections. At this point, you will fill up the system with 2 pounds of refrigerant rather than the 3 pounds required when rear AC is installed. Here's a quick rundown on how to remove the rear AC box. Remove the nut at this connection using a 13mm socket. This is found on the rear quarter of the driver's side. Make sure you are able to disconnect this part before you proceed. Most likely, this is going to be rusted together. There's 2 Phillips screws that hold this speaker panel together. Remove the bottom fastener by hand. Use a trim tool to separate this piece. Now you can slide back that panel without removing the seatbelt. There's 3 connections and this duct piece can be removed by sliding out and then down. The top piece is lightly glued to the roof. There's a total of 4 bolts holding the airbox. After those are out, slide it forward and it's out. You'll be left with a big hole. Find a creative way to seal it up. At this point, there will only be a small section of lines left on the van. They're held in place by the same clip and bolt we've been removing. And that's it. The rear AC is removed the proper way. I hope you learned something. Have a good day.